This is something you should keep in mind, okay? Whenever I'm asking you questions, Nick, I'm just asking you to clarify your positions. I'm not accusing you of anything. Even the phone call, I'm just saying, did you say this? Did you do this? Do you believe this? That's all I'm asking.
You just misrepresented the question.
If it makes you uncomfortable,
misrepresented it on accident.
See how you won't let me finish talking? It's because it's making you uncomfortable.
Because you're lying. Because it's
making you uncomfortable.
You're always just asking questions, but what you do is you misrepresent it, and everybody.
Now you have to go on another ramble because you're uncomfortable. That's what you're doing right now. You're rambling because you're uncomfortable.
You tell lies, but you can finish your lies.
Yeah, okay, well, it's not. I haven't lied. I'm not even making a statement.
You did.
All I'm saying. See how you're uncomfortable? So all I'm doing is I'm asking you a question to clarify your position. If it makes you uncomfortable to clarify your positions, that's your problem, not mine. If you ever feel like, for the rest of this call, whenever we talk, that I'm asking you an unfair question, feel free to turn around and ask me the exact same question, and I will give you a real answer, like a real person. And I won't sit here and go on a 17-minute tangent where I redefine 50 words and talk about, well, in 1776, blah, 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 blah. That's all I'm saying. Because earlier, Nick is accusing me of obfuscating. I'm not obfuscating. I'm just asking for clarification. You're the one that has to obfuscate every time you start to dance around an uncomfortable topic, like trying to say that black people are intrinsically, biologically different than white people on a call with 4 other black people. So I'm just trying to make sure that you're being honest with what you believe.
I'm not dancing around that. I said
that. Nick, do you think that white people should control America?
How are we different? How are we different?
Hang on.
Do you understand how delusional you have to be to not see biological differences between races?
What does that mean? White people should control?
I'm asking you, should white people be in charge of America?
What does that mean? In what way?
Oh my God.
Should they be the should they be the race that's in charge? Should they be the dominant race? Should they be the majority? Should every other race be the minority? Should they be the people in power? Should there be a white president? Should there be a white people in Congress, the majority? Should the police officers be white? Should judges be white? Should the people teaching be white? Is that your ideal America? Yes or no?
No. What I'm saying is, hang on, because here. But wait, and Destiny says I go on a 17-minute tangent. Here's why I have to go on a 17-minute tangent, because the question, should white people control America, doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So what I've said is there should be a cultural and demographic white core, which means I don't think that we should have a country that's majority minority. Does that mean that there can be no black police officers? Like, how does that doesn't even make any sense.
Okay, that's fair.
When I go through and explain that, I'm being accused of, well, you're just dancing around.
Okay, we can have a couple black cops. That's cool. But the people that can make laws, that can make changes, what should they be?
They could be other people. They could be people. Honestly, I don't.
Who should the majority be? Look at how he's running from the question. Who should the majority be?
The majority of Americans. I think that we should have a white majority. I think that we should not transform our white majority country with immigration.
Okay, but we're talking about power now. The power structure.
Hold on. And there's a difference.
Let Don ask his question.
I'm just saying. We already have the system you're describing. A white majority, right? A white cultural core. I don't get we got a few black people in a few places, a few, diversity in a few places. That's exactly what you're describing. The way how is America different now than how you're describing it?
Well, we have a few problems. The problem is that America is rapidly being transformed by immigration. And what you need to understand is that historically America was a white country, and in the past 30 years that America is becoming less so because of mass immigration. And by the way, this is not just bad for white people, it's also bad for black people. It's bad for it's true. It's bad for every Native American that's living in America. And here's why.
I was just saying the reason why white people are getting replaced or getting
Wait, Don, let him finish what he was saying. That's Nick, what were you saying? Finish what you were saying.
I'm saying that, what we could talk about things in the abstract, or we could talk about things as they are. And what's happening right now is that the country is being completely transformed with immigration. People that don't speak the language, people that have no roots here, people that don't share our religion, et cetera, et cetera. That's the gist of what I'm saying. We're talking about the diversity problem. The diversity problem is not that the country's 13% black. The diversity problem is that you've got millions and millions and millions of people coming here every year for 30 years with no sign of stopping, and we're going to have a country that's alien to us. We're Americans.
Can you give me one example in your life experience how some Mexican immigrant has changed your quality of life in any way?
I'll give you a perfect example. The city of Chicago used to be a city that was built by Italians and Irish and Polish and Czech and that kind of thing. And neighborhoods that my parents grew up in are now completely different because of immigration, completely transformed. And in Little Italy, in an Italian suburb where my mom grew up,
a house to immigrants, or
Wait, do you even live in Chicago?
Yeah,
I live in the suburbs of Chicago.
Okay, so you live in okay.
I'm saying if white people aren't there anymore, it's because those white people sold those houses, right? They don't just take them from the good white people and give them to the.
But the same thing happened. What you were just talking about. Same things happened with gentrification. There be black neighborhoods, and they raise the the property taxes.
I was just saying that the reason why those neighborhoods look different is because those white people have sold those houses, and people of color bought those houses.
Hold on, Nick's about to explain why they sold those houses. Go ahead, Nick.
Well, I'm not even necessarily that, but it's to say, like, how would you feel if, like, your childhood home was bought and your childhood neighbor was bought up and it just changed completely? I mean, you could say, like, well, it happened because those people sold those houses, it's still something that would be disconcerting, and that's happening on the national level.
Why is it disconcerting?
Because there's a word for this. It's called oikophilia, which is your love of home. Your love of home is something that is intrinsic to all people. We love ourselves, we love our families, we love our God, and we love our home. And what's happening to America is our home. America is not just a place where you go to the mall and hang out. America is our home. And America is being fundamentally changed. And it's not even just quality of life. It's not just quantitative. It's qualitatively. America is being fundamentally transformed, and it's becoming unrecognizable to the people that made it, to us, the people that inhabit it now and grew up in it. And that's something is being lost there. And, we could describe why that's happening or whatever in very mechanical terms, but I want to preserve the America, not necessarily because nations have to change. Things have to change. But we want to preserve the fundamentals of what our home is like. And
What is it?
Can I ask you one quick question?
Go ahead,
JiDion.
So you hate when other nations, like there's an established race, there's established culture. You hate when another race and culture change the establishment that was already made to something new, right?
I think something is lost. I think there's.
But you hate when that happens, right?
You don't like it. It's actually what we say.
We don't need to. I don't think it matters. We say hate or dislike. It's just something is being lost. Someone is losing.
So you said this is our home, right, America? Mm-hmm. So the same thing happened to the Native Americans here. They were here first. This was their home. This was their culture. Then Europeans came over. So by your same logic, Europeans are wrong for what they did.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up because typically people wouldn't bring up the example of the Indians as somebody. I mean, you're essentially saying like, oh, America's being destroyed, but America destroyed the Indians. It's like, yeah, and that was a different time, and conquest was still happening and the world was being settled.
Can't you say today's a different time?
Yeah, I think today we realize that that's wrong. I think that today...
First of all, the natives are natives to nothing. They just came from a land bridge that connected Siberia with North America. Okay? They didn't spawn in the United States. They were immigrants too. Other than that, we fought with them. Okay? It's different. Okay, so you want America, you want Europe. Okay, let's fight. It's not a problem. We can go to war. The problem is we let all these immigrants without fighting. We pay for them. We pay for their food. We pay for their health care, for their phones, Wi-Fi, clothes, housing, everything. It's not even comparable.
Just change is just a natural change of the world.
Yeah, in some sense, these are the forces of history. But as an American, I want to fight against that. America rewrote the history books and said, okay, we took over the continent and that's a great thing. But yeah, the Indians lost. Something was lost. Indian civilization, American Indian civilization was lost. It was wiped out. The people were wiped out. The culture was wiped out. I'm sure the Indians don't feel too good about that. As an American, I don't want America to be wiped out like the Indians were. Now you could say, oh, well, but that happened to the Indians. Okay, well, I don't want that to happen to me. And if you're comparing, that's not a very favorable comparison saying, well, immigrants erasing America is like Americans erasing the Indians.
But we should prevent it. Hold on. History repeats itself. It always happens.
Hold on. Destiny was waiting. So Destiny,
so just like as a real quick thing. So this is something that I push back historically against Nick. I never get a good answer to this, and there's never a good answer to this. There's two huge problems with this idea of preserving American character. Okay, one, even with a racial homogeneity, countries are still going to change. And they're even going to change because of other cultures. You've got media from other countries. You've got songs on YouTube from other countries. You've got all sorts of stuff. So your culture's always going to change. You can never freeze it, number one. Number two, there is absolutely no consistent culture across the United States of America. Again, like, you're going to find greater differences between like one person in America versus another person in America, as opposed to like America versus a whole other country, right? Like, if you take a gay dude from San Francisco and compare him to like some, you know, white farmer dude in like Georgia, these are going to be people that are so, it's going to be more different than like a fucking Somalian and somebody living in LA sometimes. Like, the difference is going to be huge. So I don't believe in this idea of preserving this consistent American culture. People can come from all over the world and find some place in the United States that you can fit in. And the culture is always going to be changing anyway. You're never going to freeze it. It's never happened in any country in the world. So I don't know why that would be the goal. It's unrealistic. I feel like you're always doing this thing where you have problems in the world, and people do this all the time. People on the left do this. Women will blame the patriarchy for every single problem in life. Progressives will blame racism for every single problem with black people. And then conservatives, on the other hand, will blame like the media or Jews for everything. Or in your case, it's racial mixing. But the reality is that if we fixed all of your racial problems right now, we either exported all the black people, we curbed immigration, we did everything we wanted, all the same problems would still exist. You'd still have violence in inner cities. You'd still have the animosity between city and rural people. Absolutely. Getting rid of the racial minorities, getting rid of that stuff, that's not going to fix any of the problems in the United States. You're still going to have problems with the media. You're still going to have problems trusting the electoral process. You're still going to have problems between city people, rural people. It's all going to exist. It's just a cheap excuse that you use so that people can feel like they've got the one answer that solves everything.
So Destiny,
the
what's
same
your
way that
answer?
feminists blame men for everything.
Destiny,
And to add on to what Destiny just said about, you're talking about how there needs to be a consistency of culture. Even with America, there was never a consistency of culture even after the Americans took over. I mean, the Europeans took over America. Because look at during the Civil War, there was a complete different culture from the South and the North. That's why they had a civil war. So you're talking about we need to preserve it when there was never nothing to preserve in the first place, because no one was ever in one mindset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go Nick and then Don.
Okay, yeah, the thing is, I don't think anybody's, I said that. I said, to Destiny's point, Destiny said, well, countries always change. Yeah, countries do change, but what we're talking about is tens of millions of immigrants in a generation. It's a big difference. And the change that would happen without tens of millions of immigrants is different than the change with all those people. So nobody's saying that societies don't change over time. I never said that societies don't change over time or vary in different places. Of course they do. But the problem is the erasure of the American national character. You could say that the national character is diverse. True. You could say that the national character has changed over time. Also true. But what's happening now is not the American character changing over time organically. We're talking about, like, for example, 2 million illegal border crossings, 5 million illegal border crossings since Biden became president. We're talking about people that don't speak English. We're talking about people by the millions coming in from Asia that aren't Christian. We're talking about people that didn't share any kind of common experience. At least the Europeans all had a common experience, relatively speaking, in Europe. And at least the Americans that inhabited the American continent had it. What do you mean, what? What do you mean, what?
Hold on. You have no understanding. Hold on.
That is, wait, no, you hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish. This guy.
Only an American could say some retarded shit like Europeans all have the same history. It's one of the dumbest things you could. It's one of the most American things you could ever say.
But yeah, please jump in with your low IQ rebuttal.
Dude, you just said a Somalian has more in common with an American than a gay American with another American. Like, shut up, bro. You're a fucking adult and you're this delusional, man.
Because your ideology is built on
Sorry, that's my inner Cuban part talking. My bad.
30 seconds. 30 seconds, and we go to Don. Go ahead, finish.
So the point is, obviously, Europeans have more in common with each other than they have with people in India. That's the point I'm making. It's a question about proximity. And so the idea is America is a certain way, and now it is being fundamentally transformed by millions of diverse people speaking diverse languages, diverse ethnicities, diverse religions, and America is going to be unrecognizable to everybody watching this right now within a century. And that's unacceptable.
Okay. All right. Yo, JiDion, tell that man to put on some pants. Go ahead, Don.
Yeah, I mean,
I will, Abba. I will.
Yeah, personally, what is destroying this country? What is country? And I'm sure you already had some preconceived notions about me. I identify personally as a very conservative person. I live in Texas. I'm a proud Texan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not align with majority of the liberal nonsense that you hear on TV. I love Matt Walsh personally, one of my favorite YouTube creators. The point I'm making though, but you're getting it wrong, Nick. You're looking at the people that are destroying this country. They look like you. They look. Who are these people are putting in these? You know, the transgender, the LGBT agenda, the abortion agenda, all of these, you know, abortion literally glorifying murder. You know, those are white people that are creating these, and I'm not trying to villainize white people and say it's because they're white. It's because we lack God. It is because we have gotten away from God.
I agree with that.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with race and all of that. If a God-fearing Christian, black, Asian, white, Hispanic person, they will all live together, and not one occurrence of murder will happen. Not one occurrence of theft. Why? Because they are faithful believers. And as God says in the Bible, you cannot be plucked from his hand. So yes, even though as Christians we sin and we're not perfect, but we don't consciously, we're not going to consciously go out of our way to commit heinous crimes against God. And so with that being the case, if we had a society that was built on the morality of the Bible, then everything will be good.
I know what Nick's about to say. He's about to say it's not people who look like him. He's going to say it's a different group of people.
Well, that's also true.
Don, it's not really white people if you look.
When you talk to very far right people, Jewish people and white people aren't the same thing. Just a heads up, they're two different groups.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, okay. All right. First, we'll go to Nick, and then we'll go to Destiny.
Okay, I agree with you, Don. I agree with you. I'm a Christian. I call myself a Christian nationalist, and the thing. That's true. I am. I'm a Christian nationalist, and I agree with you that 90% of the problems are going away from God. The people that run the country are not godly. The people that run the country are not Christian. I say even the Republican Party is run by atheists, Jews, homosexuals. It's not run. It's not run by Christians.
And look at their hero, right? In Donald Trump. Donald Trump does not exemplify Christian values. You know what I'm saying? But that is right now the Messiah of the right. See, I can be nuanced. It ain't.
Base.
You know what I'm saying? I can be nuanced. You feel me? So it's like, yeah, you look at a guy like Donald Trump, you can't as a Christian co-sign this dude.
I got two questions, man. First thing first, do you have any black friends?
I do.
You do? How many black friends would you say you have?
More than I can count. I have a lot of black friends. I love black people.
Can't be that. That's
my hero is black. My hero is Kanye West, who is black.
And I have one more question. So, with you being banned off of every platform, with you not even being able to have a Bank of America account, are you able to have a Wells Fargo or Chase account? Because I'm looking at this chat and it's sad. Like, I'm seeing a bunch of W Nicks, but it's a lot of kids in the chat.
Why is that sad?
So, like, you know,
Why is that sad?
you can never judge off chat. Once the video's posted, we're gonna see the paragraphs of people's real opinions, and we're gonna see what people really think.
Are you saying the YouTube comment section is more based than the live stream chat?
Oh yeah, man! Like, no, all these niggas say is
put an L
W
for
or L.
JiDion right now. Put an L for JiDion, man.
I'm not saying nothing. All they're saying is W or L.
Oh, my liberal brainwash, bro.
Yeah, I'm brainwashed, but then you live off chat, Sneako. But back to you, Nick.
You live off the comment section. What's the difference?
Nick, would you not concede the fact that both white and black Americans that were imported here through slave trade are the genesis of this country and should have just as much hold? But I'm pretty confident that if black Americans had a majority core, you would not be okay with it, correct?
Well, because America's not historically a majority black nation.
But if it became one, but they have just as much claim to the country as the white folks. Do they not?
Well, I think as the people that are in America, yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's say tomorrow they started overpopulating like crazy and then they became a majority. Would you be fine with it?
He's out of here.
No.
Probably not, no.
He's out of here.
So why are you cool with that though, Sneako? Like, I understand, bro, because Nick's a lost cause. It is what it is. But it's like, bro, Sneako, I think it's actually sad, bro. I feel like if your chat deadass wasn't saying W Nick this whole time, there's no way you will be writing his tip like you are this whole live stream.
Well, let's see. Respond. Go for it.
Even since I first started talking to him, I agreed with a lot of what he said, but I said that we disagreed because he's white. But I like the fact that he's sticking to what he believes. And you're saying,
well, you don't disagree because he's white. That's not true. Don't say that. That's not true.
No, I'm saying we can't agree on a lot of stuff. The stuff he's saying about race mixing, we just fundamentally won't agree. Because
but that isn't because he's white. It's because he's a white.
Okay, let me answer JiDion's.
It's a different thing.
Okay, let me answer JiDion's surface level, like tweet responsive dick riding. Like that's a stupid thing to say. Nick and he agrees a lot about the bigger problems that are going on. What was your question? Like, if chat wasn't saying this, that I wouldn't say that I wouldn't be saying that he's right.
Yeah, you wouldn't be riding for him because you've been literally. There has not been one single thing that he said this entire stream. Which you said some crazy stuff this entire stream. There has not been one thing you were like, "All right, Nick, you're wild in there. I can't agree with you."
I did just now. I said like, if based on his philosophy, I would evaporate.
You didn't even say philosophy. You just said it based on the fact that he's white.
No, his philosophy. That's what.
Okay, but look, JiDion, let's be charitable. Let's say he is talking about his philosophy. Okay. Listen, at the end of the day, I'm not saying nobody can be friends, nobody can rock nobody. But you don't find it kind of crazy that the ideal world that he envisions is one in which you wouldn't exist in?
Not the ideal world, but the ideal country. And I think a lot of other countries would agree on that. I think Japanese people would say the same thing. Japanese people like, let's keep this country Japanese. There are the people donating. Ethiopians are saying like, yeah, let's keep our country Ethiopian. Most other countries have the same sort of rhetoric, but you're saying it's sad, JiDion, because he's a white guy. And it sounds racist, but a lot of people and successful people who really are nationalists about their country say the same shit. So I can't hate it.
You don't think, I don't want to get like sentimental here, but you don't think there's something cool or unique about the idea that in any major American city, you can like walk around and you can find Hispanic people, you can find all sorts of Asian people, Middle Eastern people, African people, European people that are all like working together, living together on the bus, on the subway, and Ubers. Like you don't think there's any unique success there that America can claim? That like, yeah, we probably should have been like, you know, Japan and been culturally homogenous or racially homogenous. Like, you don't think there's any value in that whatsoever?
Ideally, but it's not working. We've become too liberal, and you see the destruction of it. Like my city, New York City's it's got too liberal, too accepting of everything, doesn't have any core values, and it's falling apart.
And he said that he would prefer in an ideal world if every country in the world was mono-ethnic and monocultural to maintain that core character, because there are biologically essentially differences between the races. Yes?
Okay, but there's something between excluding other races and maintaining a majority.
Yeah, and I also said that we live in the world and that countries are complex, and I said that every country has diversity and every country is multi-ethnic to an extent. I said, and we need to understand ourselves. We need to know ourselves to manage them. I never said I don't love other groups.
You literally said if you had a black roommate, you'd fight with him over the shower.
I didn't say that. I said that proximity creates conflict. I said... See, but there you go. It's totally dishonest. I said that proximity and difference creates conflict. Okay. That was an analogy to say that when you get lots of different people together in a close living quarters, they're more likely to fight than me and Don on this debate panel. That's what I said, and that happens to be true. And it's not about not liking other people. It's not about not loving your neighbor, not loving God. It's about, is America going to retain its character? And by the way, are both black and white people going to retain their claim to America as a home? Are we going to turn America into your experiment destiny where it's like, wouldn't it be interesting if we had all kinds of people walking around? Like, that's our home.
You're fine with them making a claim to their home, provided that white people stay the majority. To me, it sounds like, oh yeah, black people are included, kind of, but not to the extreme as they would like. I don't know, to me it just sounds kind of backwards. But
it's
okay, I'll let you quickly rebuttal and then we'll go to Don.
Yeah, I mean, there are other countries like this. Like for example, Russia. Russia has an ethnically Russian population core, but they also have Muslims. They also have all kinds of people. And those people are, you know, they're not going to outnumber the Russians anytime soon, but it's equally their country. They have a history there. And the same is true of America, where you talk about, what if America was half black? I mean, I don't know, but that's not happening. What is happening is that we're all being pushed out by massive amounts of immigrants who don't even live here. So I think it's just misdirection.
Okay.
Yeah, I completely agree with Nick. I mean, it's a 4 versus 1, and Nick is destroying them with facts. And these people are just like, wait, my feelings, what about this? What about that? How do you feel, Sneako? Bro, you're a fucking adult. But guys, let me know in the comments what you think. If you agree or disagree. Leave a like if you want to. Christ is King. God bless you.